Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's about the 23rd of June, so I'm kind of starting my wrap up a little bit early, but I will probably come back and film any additional books that I finish at the end of the month. But I've kind of fallen behind my vlog this month instead of doing it after each book, so I'm kind of grouping a bunch together right now. This is about the third time I've started this video between my neighbor mowing the lawn and the dryer running in the background. Too much noise, so hopefully... And then my air conditioner kicks in. Hopefully it won't make enough noise, but we're going to go and proceed anyway, because it's beautiful out here and I want to film in this nice light, sipping my Frappuccino out here and just enjoying the day. So hope you enjoy it with me. Starting off, I read Blood Lad, Volume 4 and Volume 5. This is by Yuki Kodama, about a vampire family. Our main character is Stas, his brother Braz. That's their dad and their sister, but Stas is the main character. He's a vampire who rules in the demon world. He was kind of sent down from the Acropolis where his brother and the rest of his family live for reasons you find out in the series. But a human girl kind of wanders into the demon world, ends up dying shortly after, and now he is determined to try and bring her back to life. And apparently his brother Braz knows some sort of secret. But during the course of him trying to do this, he gets caught up in this other kind of situation that his brother is involved in. And there's like this Frankenstein monster type character and a big battle coming up, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where that goes. But a really enjoyable series, great characters, and fantastic artwork. I gave these both 5 stars. Moving on from there, I listened to an audiobook. This is Elizabeth Peters. There you go. It's The Deeds of the Disturber, and this is Volume 5 in the Amelia Peabody series. And this one takes place mostly in London at a British museum where a night watchman is found dead at the foot of a mummy. There's rumors of curses and things like that. And of course, Amelia always kind of gets her nose tucked into any kind of murder mystery. And I enjoyed it a lot. This is one I gave 5 stars to. Lots of humor in this series. I absolutely love it. Barbara Mertz is the real name of Elizabeth Peters. Now we have planes. Why not? Anyway, Barbara Mertz, the author of these books, is an Egyptologist in real life, so you know, lots of detail within these stories that I absolutely love. I gave that one 5 stars. And then moving on from that, I went right into book 6, and this is The Last Camel Died at Noon. This particular one takes place more in the Sudan, where Radcliffe Emerson, Amelia's husband, has always wanted to go on an expedition. On a dig, and while they're there, they're kind of also looking into a missing person, and they kind of get caught up in a rather weird situation. They're kind of kidnapped and held there because it's a secret area where they don't want, the people that are there don't want to be discovered. They don't want their location known. So while they're there, they're also looking into this missing person. It seemed kind of just too isolated for me and not enough intrigue. There's an introduction of a new character called Nefret, which will continue on with the rest of the series. But I mean, overall, the storyline wasn't all that interesting for me, and I only gave that one 4 stars. After that, I picked up a YA book called Symptoms of Being Human, and this is by Jeff Garvin. The tagline is "Boy or Girl?" Yes, is the answer. I decided to pick this one up since it was Pride Month. And this deals with a character named Riley Kavanaugh who identifies as gender fluid. This particular character is under the care of a therapist because a while ago they had this sort of anxiety and a panic attack. They've been bullied pretty badly at their previous school, and as the story opens up, they're attending a new school. And at the suggestion of the therapist, Riley decides to start a blog where they can kind of release those pent-up feelings and just talk about what it's like to be gender fluid. And they begin the blog, the first thing you want to know about me is, am I a boy or a girl? And the answer is yes. Because sometimes Riley wakes up feeling very feminine and wants to express themselves that way and dress in a feminine style, and sometimes a more masculine style, or sometimes sort of neutral, somewhere in between. But as Riley's entering this new school, very kind of frightened of the whole situation repeating from the previous school, and Riley has not come out to anybody, not even their parents, other than the therapist, and that's not something that has been made clear to Riley's parents, that, you know, they think that's just for the anxiety and things like what's causing this anxiety, but obviously Riley knows it's because of trying to be gender fluid in a society that wants to put you in a male box or a female box. And it was a really intriguing story. I felt very much for Riley and some of the situations that they find themselves in. This blog means a lot to them because they're able to open up and get a lot of responses from other people who feel very similar. But then something happens where someone discovers Riley's identity and threatens to out them. And Riley has to make that decision of whether to come out or just give up the blog. It's something that means, a whole lot to them. It was a really intriguing story because I got to the very end of the book and read the author's notes, and the author describes how they never reveal Riley's assigned gender at birth. And I came to realize, sorry, bug, I came to realize that somehow subconsciously I had stuck Riley in the female box, that they were born female, and then came to discover that they were identified as gender fluid. And I said, but I was sure that there were instances within the book that hinted towards that. And I went back and looked, and I never saw any of those instances. Somehow my mind just kind of assumed this, which is what people do all the time. They look at a person and they want to make an assumption, and if they can't make an assumption, it bothers them, and it shouldn't. The person's, they're human. That's all you need to know. The question, are you a boy or a girl? It's on a need-to-know basis. You don't really need to know. I'm a human. Just treat me like a human. Treat me with respect. That, I think, is the underlying aspect of this book, and why I think it is so important and so well done. Overall, I gave this one 5 stars. Moving on from that, I went for a lighter note. I went back to a manga. I picked up Cajun Eden, Volume 21. This is by Yoshinobu Yamada. A really great series. I love it. It's kind of like a combination between Lost and Jurassic Park. Some really great characters, fantastic art. Between like the details and the background and the characters, you have a plane that has crashed on a mysterious island, kind of unknown, uncharted. Get away, bug. The problems of dealing with filming outdoors. Anyway, but this island is populated with strange, extinct dinosaurs, and there's some human structures there, but no people around, and then they start to find skeletons and a weird kind of mystery going on, and I love the whole aspect of it. I didn't realize when I picked up this volume that this is the last concluding volume, and like Lost, I enjoyed the series so much, and then you had that final episode where they explain things, and you're like, what a letdown. And I'll have to tell you, I felt this was a bit of a letdown at the end, too. Left a lot of unanswered questions. It seemed very rushed at the very last few pages, where you're jumping into the future, and things are moving on, and you're like, but wait, what about this? What about that? It left too many unanswered questions. I gave this one overall 3 stars, but I'll have to tell you, I don't regret reading up to this point. I don't regret reading the series, even though that very, very ending was a letdown, because I still really enjoyed the ride. So overall, I gave this one 3 stars, but for the most part, I gave most of the series 5 stars, so it's still worth picking up, I think. So the last book I read in the month of June was Hour of the Zombie, Volume 5 by Tsukasa Saimura. Hour of the Zombie refers to every hour or so this zombie virus sort of shuts itself off in people, and they realize, their humanity again and what they've done, and also kind of see their friends looking at them as if they are monsters and wanting to kill them. And sort of trying to see if these, sometimes zombies and humans can coexist. Is there any way to bring them back to normalcy and get rid of this virus from their system? I've been enjoying the series pretty much throughout, but this particular volume didn't seem to progress the story all that much, and as gruesome as a zombie story can be, this sort of took it to a whole different level of disgusting that it didn't need to go. Beyond the zombie virus part of it, it was a different aspect to it that I didn't care for. Overall, I gave this one just 2 stars, and I was overly disappointed with it. But it does kind of end on an interesting note that makes me kind of want to continue with it and see where it goes, although I'm hoping it doesn't kind of continue in the same vein. But we'll see. Like I said, it ended fairly well, enough for me to want to pick up the next volume. So I feel like I haven't read a whole lot of books. I think I've read like 3 manga, 2 audiobooks, and a YA novel for the month, but and I realized, oh, don't forget, you've read 730 pages of War and Peace. So, yeah, that's taken up quite a chunk of my reading time as well. So, I am past the Great Divide. We are past the halfway point, and I've got just the July reading left to go. So, still enjoying this one a lot, though. So that's all I have for you guys for June. I wrap up, and I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what you guys have read during the month, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.